The anatomy of supreme confidence. You move through a world blinded by impulse. They chase pleasure, approval, and distraction, believing movement itself means purpose. You know better. You watch them run in circles, desperate to be seen, terrified to be ignored. You, instead, observe. You calculate. You conserve motion. And in that stillness, your power begins. The first trick of dangerous confidence is control over posture and presence. They will follow the signal of your body before they hear your words. They read silence faster than sound. If your movements are slow, deliberate, economical, they will sense dominance without needing proof. A still head commands attention. A steady gaze disarms their uncertainty. Every gesture measured, every breath intentional. The body is the vessel of authority. It must never tremble under scrutiny. Do not mirror their nervousness. Let them mirror your calm. They yield to presence, not argument. The second law of confidence. Control your tone. They listen, not to meaning, but to conviction. Speak less, but when you speak, speak as though the world has already agreed. No qualifiers, no softening. No, I think. Uncertainty is the currency of the weak. Certainty, cold, contained, and reasoned, bends the will of others faster than charisma. They will believe you, not because you are right, but because you sound inevitable. A composed tone converts chaos into order. That is why rulers rarely shout. They command softly, and the world listens harder. The third truth. Never explain yourself. They hunger for justification, for the illusion of equality. To explain is to kneel. When you are sure, explanation becomes unnecessary. When you are unsure, explanation becomes fatal. Let your decisions stand as monoliths, silent, unapologetic, undeniable. If they understand, good. If they don't, better. Mystery breeds reverence. Transparency invites challenge. Confidence thrives in controlled opacity. Then, the fourth. Master your detachment. They react to every slight. You don't. They rage when insulted. You smile, or worse, remain indifferent. Detachment is not coldness. It is strategic restraint. Every reaction feeds another's control. Refuse to be fed. When you stay unmoved, they become uncertain. Uncertainty makes them submissive. Power is not taken. It is surrendered by those who cannot remain composed. The fifth. Own your solitude. They fear being alone, because silence exposes the void inside them. You seek solitude, because silence sharpens your mind. Confidence without solitude is dependence disguised as pride. You must become complete within your own company, needing neither approval nor validation. That is how a ruler is born from within, not appointed by others. The sixth. Be unpredictable. Predictability is the enemy of respect. They can only fear what they cannot read. When your patterns are visible, they will learn to anticipate you. And when they can anticipate you, they will control you. Occasionally contradict your image. Show softness when they expect cruelty. Show silence when they expect fury. Confuse them, and you remain above them. Confidence without mystery becomes arrogance. Mystery turns confidence into authority. The seventh. Choose stillness over haste. They rush to fill silence, to resolve uncertainty, to escape discomfort. You let silence stretch. You let uncertainty breathe. Haste is the symptom of internal weakness, the inability to sit with tension. When others rush, you wait. When they panic, you plan. Patience is the throne on which confidence sits. Finally, control your inner narrative. They live in stories told by others. You live in the story. You write for yourself. Their moods shift with praise and insult. Yours remain anchored in reason. Confidence is not about feeling superior. It is about being ungoverned by emotion. When you remove emotion, what remains is precision. When you remove need, what remains is freedom. And from freedom comes command. They will call you cold. They will call you distant. They will say you lack empathy. Let them. Their comfort is built on weakness. Your strength is built on discipline. They seek connection to fill emptiness. You seek control to preserve order. That is the divergence between rulers and followers. One leads through composure. The other collapses under chaos. Understand this. Confidence is not noise. It is silence that cannot be shaken. It is the calm of a mind immune to validation. It is the unbending will that measures every reaction, every motion, every word. They build themselves from opinions. You build yourself from control. They crave approval. You crave mastery. And mastery, once achieved, makes approval irrelevant. You will not always be loved. You will often be feared. But fear, in truth, is respect in its most honest form. So, remain still, remain certain, and when the world bends around your composure, remember, the one who commands himself commands all. The dominion of words. The second trick is this: speak as though every word is law, because in truth, to them, it is. They are not moved by logic. They are moved by tone. They are not guided by truth. They are guided by conviction. They do not analyze your words. They absorb your certainty. When you hesitate, they sense blood. When you speak with precision, they sense command. You must understand, words are not sound. They are signals of power. The world is not ruled by the loudest, but by the most deliberate. Every sentence must strike like a blade, measured, clean, without tremor. A ruler does not explain. A ruler declares. They will doubt your claims if you doubt yourself. So remove doubt. Erase hesitation. Cut every word until only steel remains. Language in your hands is not for comfort. It is for control. When you speak, never rush. Silence is your ally. Let your pauses stretch. They create weight. They make them lean closer, hungry for your approval. They will not even know why they listen. If they will, they always do. You must learn to separate speech from emotion. Emotion is a fever that burns clarity. When you speak with anger, you reveal your weakness. When you speak with fear, you expose your wound. When you speak with calm, they cannot find your center. And what they cannot locate, they cannot strike. To command, through words, your tone must live between warmth and threat. Not friendly, not cruel, unreadable. They must never know if your smile hides mercy or disdain. Uncertainty keeps them still. Stillness breeds obedience. They will tell you that communication is about connection. That is a lie of the powerless. The purpose of your speech is not to be understood. It is to be obeyed. Meaning is secondary. Presence is primary. It is not what you say that moves people. It is who they believe you are when you say it. And so, you must become your words. Let your speech match your stance. Let your tone match your gaze. When your words and body align, the illusion of authority becomes reality. They will feel that you cannot be challenged. And because they feel it, it becomes true. Learn to speak slowly. Let others fill the air with noise. Their chatter exposes insecurity. Your silence constructs dominance. Each time you delay your reply, you train them to wait. Each time you answer without urgency, you train them to yield. Power speaks last. Do not seek to persuade. Persuasion is negotiation, and negotiation implies equality. You are not there to convince them. You are there to define what is real. If they question you, repeat your point, but colder. Repetition, delivered without emotion, becomes law. They will surrender to consistency more than reason. Precision is the armor of a strategist. Each word placed with intention becomes a fortress. Vagueness is chaos. Certainty is order. Do not decorate your speech with excess. Simplicity commands reverence. When every word is necessary, every word is remembered. Do not fill silence. Let it expand like smoke. It unsettles them. They will reveal themselves just to end the discomfort. And in their words, you will find your advantage. In your restraint, they will see your strength. Remember, logic must dominate emotion. Emotion blinds. Logic sees. Emotion obeys the moment. Logic rules the future. To speak logically is to speak from stillness, from control. Let others cry out their feelings. You will dictate the terms. They will call you detached. They will say, you lack empathy. They will say your words cut too deep. Let them. The blade of truth always offends the soft, and softness is the mark of the ruled. To lead, your speech must become ritual. It must be consistent, restrained, undeniable. Your tone must not rise to meet theirs. Theirs must fall to meet yours. When you lower your voice, they must strain to hear. That is dominance without force. That is control without effort. You will find that people obey not because they agree, but because they feel your certainty. And certainty, when unshaken, feels divine. They mistake composure for power, and so it becomes power. You say little, but they remember everything. You speak slowly, and time itself seems to wait. You end a sentence, and they hold their breath. That is mastery. Not the mastery of words, but the mastery of yourself. Confidence is not volume. It is weight. It is the gravity of a mind that moves with intention. It is the stillness of one who does not seek approval. They seek to be understood. You seek to be obeyed. They fill the air with emotion. You fill it with silence. And in that silence, you reign. So when you speak, speak as though every word is law, because to them, it will be. And when they look at you, unsure whether to fear or admire you, remember the truth. A voice that never trembles rules all who do. The final dominion. They live chained to sentiment. You live in the cold calculus of strategy. That is the divide between rulers and the ruled. They act from impulse. You act from design. They speak to be heard. You speak to be obeyed. They chase comfort. You pursue control. Their emotions are their leash, and they wear it proudly. You, however, learn to watch without reacting. You learn to feel without surrendering. You learn to move without revealing. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. The world is not kind to those who hesitate. It devours those who mistake emotion for strength. Confidence is not a gift. It is cultivated armor. It is not born in applause, nor found in admiration. It is forged in solitude, hammered by rejection, cooled by logic. Each blow you endure becomes another layer of steel. Each silence you master becomes another wall of composure. They will call you distant. They will call you cold. Let them. Distance protects power. Coldness protects clarity. Those who need to be understood will always be controlled by those who do not. They live to be seen. You live to remain unreadable. When they expose, you observe. When they overshare, you measure. When they demand attention, you withhold presence. They feed on reaction, and you starve them of it. You must learn the discipline of emotional silence. Let others tremble under insult. You remain unbothered. Let others drown in approval. You remain detached. To be untouchable, you must first become immune to praise. The hand that can't be flattered can't be led. The mind that cannot be provoked cannot be defeated. They live for validation. But validation is dependency in disguise. You live for control of yourself, of the field, of the outcome. That is the essence of rule. It is not about domination over others. It is about domination over impulse. For the one who rules himself rules all. Understand this. The crowd admires confidence because they lack it. They mistake composure for arrogance, calm for superiority. They do not see the discipline behind restraint, the patience behind silence. Their confidence burns bright and dies quickly. Yours does not burn. It endures. It does not scream. It steadies. It does not need witness. It simply is. They will try to provoke you, to test the edge of your restraint. Let them. Every provocation is an opportunity to confirm your control. When they shout, you pause. When they press, you wait. The silence that follows will suffocate them more than any response could. Power breathes slowly. Remember, every reaction is a surrender. When you respond emotionally, you give them shape. When you remain composed, you become infinite. They can only define what they can disturb. Your stillness will become their confusion. Your calm will become their fear. To live by strategy is to accept solitude. Few will understand your distance. Even fewer will deserve your presence. But the reward for discipline is dominion. Those who master patience bend time itself. Those who master silence command chaos. They will measure you by how little you need them. The less you require, the more you rule. Dependence is the chain of the ordinary. Detachment is the crown of the superior. You do not seek their approval. You calculate their reactions. You do not crave belonging. You study patterns. That is how the strategist ascends, while others collapse under emotion. They live for comfort. You live for control. They confuse noise with purpose. You understand that silence is structure. You speak little, act precisely, and move unseen. They will call it arrogance, but it is simply confidence in its purest form is not visible. It exists beneath expression, beneath doubt, beneath fear. It is the calm recognition that nothing external can alter your equilibrium. It is the inner monarchy, the rule of reason over reaction. While they tremble at uncertainty, you remain composed. While they beg for clarity, you create it. While they fear judgment, you stand beyond it. You will not win every battle, but you will never lose yourself. And that is the mark of the sovereign. Your composure will intimidate. Your silence will command. Your restraint will define the space others fight to fill. They will think you cruel, but cruelty is only perceived by the weak. You are not cruel. You are measured. When the noise fades and the crowd disperses, you will stand alone, unbent, unbroken, unreadable. They will whisper your name not out of love, but out of uncertainty. And uncertainty is the throne upon which respect kneels. Confidence is not noise. It is stillness under fire. It is the absence of need. It is the refusal to bend. They feel it. They respect it. Because deep down, they know you possess what they cannot touch. And in that silence, you recognize the final truth. Mastery over yourself is the only dominion that cannot be taken.